Okay then, year 12. Sorry, let's just get that. That's it. Okay. So last time I spoke to you, we were looking at the first stage of oxidative phosphorylation, which is known as the electron transport chain. And we have, do you remember the four proteins with their channels? NAD and FAD, reduced NAD and FAD are oxidized, so they drop off their hydrogen atoms which split, and the electrons jump onto the electron transport chain and they move from one protein to the next, and that produces a little bit of energy, which then allows the protons or the hydrogen plus ions to be pumped into this intermembrane space. And suddenly we have a lot of hydrogen plus ions. So that's where we got to last lesson. Now then, do you remember we've got this funny looking molecule also with a channel, and that is ATP synthase. Now, because we have a lot of hydrogen plus ions in this intermembrane space, and we don't have many down here, the hydrogen plus ions are going to literally diffuse. They're going to go from a high concentration to a low concentration back into the matrix. And because it's through a protein, enzymes are proteins, aren't they? We say it's through facilitated diffusion. Okay? So these hydrogen ions are going to go whee down here. And as they do that, they are going to make this enzyme turn ADP plus inorganic phosphate into ATP. So it's the hydrogen ions moving through the ATP synthase from a high concentration to a low concentration, facilitated diffusion, that causes ATP synthase to turn ADP plus inorganic phosphate into ATP. And because it's moving from a high concentration to a low concentration through a membrane, it's a bit like osmosis, isn't it? But it's going down a chemical gradient. So that is why this part, where the hydrogen plus ions go through the ATP synthase, is known as chemiosmosis. Okay, I'll pop it up there. Chemiosmosis. So the electrons whizzing along the proteins is the electron transport chain. All right, and the pumping of the hydrogen plus ions into the mitochondrial membrane space. But the actual movement of the H plus ions through the ATP synthase back into the matrix, that is known as chemiosmosis. And if you remember me telling you at the beginning, there are two parts of oxidative phosphorylation. There is the electron transport chain and there is chemiosmosis. All right.